Before I was saved, my life was, I would say, broken. I came from a broken family. We were Christians. We were in church, but I didn't know who God was. I believe it was 13 I was saved, and I was baptized. I didn't have anyone to share with me what was going on with me spiritually. And I would say that that's the point in time that I would say Satan chased me. I ended up pregnant, and I was in fear of telling my parents that I got pregnant. I would say because it was supposed to be a Christian home, so I left. The fear to tell somebody that you had done something that your parents wouldn't be proud of. You didn't know who to turn to. So I went, and I went to the Planned Parenthood, and I had an abortion. I murdered my child. After it was over, I walked home. I just felt alone. Like I had no one. That I had no one to turn to. No one to confide in. I was lost. I was truly lost. Would live with a friend here and then a friend there, and then I met my children's father. But along the way, I got caught up into the drug scene. And so I was living that life. We got pregnant, and we got married, and I had my son. And then we had another child, my daughter. And there was a day that I stood in my kitchen, and audibly I hear God say to me, "What are you doing?" And that right there, I knew was the day that I needed to change my life. I left and took my children and started a new life. I got myself a part-time job, went to school part-time, and got off of drugs. But I know that the Lord was there, and He was helping me through it all. Circumstances changed. I was able to come here to Oklahoma, but I met a woman. Her and her husband were a pastor, and she invited me to church. And that's when I started going to church and rededicated my life to the Lord, and started taking my children to church, and I became saved, and my life and my children's lives changed for the better. Then I got married again, and I was warned not to marry this person, and I did. And it wreaked havoc in our life, and it cost me a lot. So I got another divorce, and my son decided he wanted to go and room with a friend. My daughter got married. So I moved into my apartment, and I started seeking and searching after the Lord. I just believe that He was working things out inside me. I always had that ache. I actually had 2 abortions, but the children that I had not given birth to, that I had taken their lives. I think that was the bondage that I was kept in throughout my life. Along the way, I went to an encounter. We did this where you write down what sin that you committed, and you nail it to this huge cross. I was nailing my babies to the cross and asking the Lord to forgive me for murdering my babies. And I went back to my seat, and I saw this vision of Jesus, and he was holding 2 babies. And in my heart, he says, I have your babies. And that's when I knew that I was forgiven. And I did feel free. I did feel that I was released from all the pain and anguish that I was holding on to. For the 2 regrets that I know that the only regrets I ever had in life. And I know that they are waiting for me. You know, you have to ask yourself, what is freedom? You know, what's freedom? Because when you walk through life, sometimes freedom doesn't even really feel like freedom. It's the knowing that I've been forgiven. I don't have to live in the condemnation. I don't have to be living in the shame anymore. I can know that I've been forgiven by the Lord. That's freedom. I would say my life now is content and peaceful. I have a good husband. He takes good care of me. He loves me. He loves me. I have a beautiful daughter and a son, and altogether 10 grandchildren. Wherever there's a place that you feel stuck, God has a way out through somebody that's there to help you. You don't have to be stuck in your sin. He freed me from death and brought me into life. And you too can do the same.